Sub nerds? This is just after season. I just saw Independence Day Resurgence, and oh my gosh, it's like Star Wars 7. It's kind of like if they want to reboot the series, it's like yeah, sorry, not reboot, revitalize, because it's definitely a sequel, and they're definitely piggybacking like heavily off of not just nostalgia, but the storyline of the old one. They actually worked Will Smith not being in it to their advantage, made him dead, and made his son grow up and like follow in his footsteps. They have a lot of characters doing a lot of stuff. It's one of those, all around the world and like international unity kind of movies. I don't want to say that in kind of a derogatory way, but I think they went out of their way to include a lot of different nationalities and religions, just a cut to see how people around the world were responding to what was happening. And they made this big they made a big deal about, apparently since the last movie, and it's kind of been moving in real time. It's been 20 years since the last movie and 20 years since, the last huge alien encounter. They're kind of like, well, since we got invaded 20 years ago, we're actually been in an unprecedented amount of peace. There hasn't been any armed conflict whatsoever. In real life, I doubt that would ever happen. But maybe I'm just pessimistic. There's a lot of actors you'll recognize. I won't even go into it. Go to IMDb, and you will see that there are so many people in this movie that certain cameos were just there just to be there. And honestly, the amount of death did not seem very real, just because most of our main characters do survive. We lose like 3. Not to spoil anything. And they try to make it very approachable. They have fire pilots, male and female, black and Asian, but they still follow the stereotypes in a lot of different ways, and it's still populated mostly by white people. I don't mean to be deceitful in that too, but I guess you can't really call it the whitewashing of anything, because it's just a movie. It's a sequel to a movie. It's just America jerking itself off, kind of. I would like to think that if humans and aliens did find themselves sharing the same air, that we wouldn't be constantly killing each other. That being said, definitely expect a sequel. Definitely a nice popcorn flick, but don't imagine much in the way of real depth. I hate to say something like that, but it definitely feels like a standard action flick. It has that kind of independence-ness behind it. If you like the first one, and you don't mind not having Will Smith in it, watch the movie. You'll probably find at least one actor in it you enjoy, but none of them really tap their potential. And if you just like are feeling for the emotions of the characters, because people's loved ones are the ones that die the most, it can be kind of striking. You have some moments where you're like, I feel bad for this character, but it's really all just justification for them to pull up their bootstraps and become great. I think that's a really big message of the movie. Anyone in the human race can become great, and that. Sorry, I have to just establish this. I've never seen Manifest Destiny so fucking big. Just like, humans are very resilient. We will. Sorry, that's kind of spoiler territory, but there's more than one alien race in this movie, and the other one is sucking our goddamn dick. And I'm sorry to say that. It's very arrogant. It's a very, very arrogant movie. I will say that. But hey, we have to have that propaganda to send into space to show aliens we mean business. Because if they see this movie and they believe it, then they will be very impressed. However, if they see most of the other movies that came out this summer, they might not feel that way. Other than that, like I said, if you have nostalgia for the material, definitely watch it. I saw it in 2D, probably not that much better in 3D, but it will be a visual wonder, because about 2/3 of this movie is CG. There's so much CG. So if you don't like CG and you don't like 3D, you might not like it. Like I said, there's not a huge amount of depth, so you can't really overanalyze it. It's kind of a feel-good movie. for sure. You'll laugh a little bit. I'd say, in terms of a movie lover, if you feel like you want to see it, then you might as well just rent it or watch it digitally somehow. That's my verdict. It's Just Out the Seat. Hope you guys have a good weekend. Happy pre-Independence Day.